tell us about Sameera Kolli's case?
Actually, this is a very, very interesting but in a tragic note, coupled with many lessons for the doctors and hospital. This is one of the recent cases decided by the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Actually, it emanated from 2010. The case came to conclusion in 2016. A lady, she was a spinster, about 42 years old. She was a manager in a very good company. She experienced that she had problems in menstruation, painful, irritating, long standing, which she got it very, very upset with that and prolonging. So, she wanted to consult a OG doctor. It happened in Delhi. She visited one of the nursing home where a very experienced lady doctor whose name is Brahma Machanda, about 55 years, got good experience. So, she, after talking and she wrote some tests, etc., then a date was fixed for laparoscopy. That means seeing inside what is there. If possible, laparotomy. Laparotomy means if suppose is it easier, it can be removed by laparotomy operation. They will make a hole and it is a simple procedure, not an open operation. So, they decided a date where laparoscopy and laparotomy can be done, and the lady gave her consent for this procedure. She was taken to an operation room where Dr. Prabha Machanda and her assistant, another lady doctor, were there, and they have done the procedure, and the senior doctor Prabha found that there is a large size of chocolate cyst available in and around fallopian tubes. So, normally the fallopian tube, two fallopian tubes are there. If the cyst is too big, there is no identification of tube, it will merge with the cyst itself, and it occupied a huge space in the uterus, and the lady doctor felt that, taking into consideration of her age, the marital status and her suffering, she was of the opinion reproductive chances are very remote for this lady. Consequently, it would be better to remove all the reproductive organs so that she will be free till her remaining days. Accordingly, she sent a junior doctor from the operation room, and the junior doctor went outside where her mother was there. Now, you please understand, consent was obtained for laparoscopy and laparotomy. Now, the senior doctor has decided to open, as an open operation, remove the reproductive parts, which is medically called bilateral oophorectomy, salpingo oophorectomy. That means you are removing all the reproductive parts, ovary, fallopian tubes and uterus. Bilateral means both the sides, fallopian tubes will be two. Now, this junior doctor went outside and got the consent, returned back, they have removed, and she was after 2 days discharged, not discharged, shifted to the ordinary ward. This lady doctor's son happens to be a junior doctor. So, he was following out, is usual, all the operated patient will be checked and found whether the wounds are curing, etc. So, he saw this patient and met her and say, I think your wounds are very good, it is getting cured, here afterwards you will not have any problem. So, immediately the lady was under presumption, timing etc. will be there, menstruation will be there, but he says there is no pain, it is a good thing, very good sir, So everything you have removed. They say yes, here afterwards there will not be any problem. But the junior doctor informed her, because hereafter everything will be okay, you will not have any pain, because we removed all the reproductive parts. She was shocked. She was not able to bear the news. The other side of the coin is, there is no law that at the age of 42 one should not love another person. She was under a love with a military officer in Delhi, and they were already exchanged pleasantries. Engagement is also fixed. Both were hoping a very good honeymoon days and very good children in our life, which they are expecting eagerly. How far they will be very eager and imaginary, I am leaving it to your imagination. And she called her man, and military people, now 4 or 5 people came, ransacked the hospital and forcefully took this lady to their residence. The hospital filed a suit to recover the cost of damaged products, and the lady filed a consumer case against the hospital. Of their negligence, I lost my life itself. She argued the case that the very quality of woman has been taken away by this lady. Now I am not at all a woman now. And court case, they heard both the sides. The issue to be decided in the court is not a fact as I am describing. Court is not interested. Court is interested to answer the issue whether the consent obtained subsequently when the patient was in the operation room is valid or not. And the court declared that the consent obtained from the patient's mother is not valid. Hence, the hospital has committed a gross negligence, because when you are obtaining a consent, the patient must understand what is written. It is a term of a contract. In every term of contract, the terms are written, both the parties understand, and it is a consensus of two minds. What the one party thinks should be understood in the same way by the other party. So, it is a consensus of mind, then only they can come for signing. Mere signature is not a consent. Just because mother signed, the consent is not valid. What the senior doctor should have done is, when she saw all the cyst etc., she has to close that and resuscitate the patient. After 1 week, she has to inform what she found inside, and if the patient is still interested for an operation, get a proper consent for that type of operation. Then only she can venture. Getting consent from the mother when the patient is inside is not valid. But there is a rider. Suppose something goes wrong in the operation room, to save the patient, it needs another operation. Otherwise, the patient may die. In that rarest of the rare case, she can get a consent like this. In ordinary circumstances, except emergencies, consent should be obtained from the patient. If the patient is minor, consent should be obtained from the parents or guardians. For small minors, always there must be a consent given by the parents or guardian, legal guardian. So, from here, what we understand, what we infer is, mere paper with the signature by the patient is not valid consent unless and until it is understood properly by the patient before execution. So, what I suggest is, always have consent form in the local language. Number 1. If it is educated, well educated people, get consent in English, or always vernacular language. Number 2, even there are many people who does not understand vernacular language also. They don't know how to read. They can talk Hindi, but they cannot read Hindi. They can talk Tamil, they cannot write Tamil, they cannot understand. So, better open a verification column where another person gives an undertaking, I have explained the consent, the contents of the consent to the patient, and the patient understood very clearly, and the patient was free to ask questions for which I answered her. So, the person who is explained should sign, and the patient who can also put her thumb impression. Then it becomes perfect. This is the way proper consent, and from this case what we learn is obtain proper consent by following appropriate methods. If you are following that, the contract is on and you are following the procedure correctly. Please follow this.